host JJ here on Amazon Live, and I'm so excited!
We're gonna have some fun on the street.
And we're doing Workout Wednesdays here on Amazon Live.
And she is fresh off the set of Shark Tank.
It's such an honor to be here today, so thank you.
We are gonna be talking all about parenting.
You have no idea how honored I am to have Mr. Tim Story making his world premiere right here on Sway TV Live.
Functional medicine is all this stuff. It's integrating things that improve your life.
This is our tribe of women.
I completely agree with you, Kimmy. It starts with being happy with how you look.
What is the key to a successful business?
We made history here on Amazon Live. Would you ask her out again, Michael? I am so excited for today's Battle Shop Live. And it's Brad Grunberg. Hi, Brad.
Here we go, here we go. Get curious. Get curious.
Daisha says, I can watch Sway TV for hours because they are the best. Rosalinda just said, this is better than Netflix.
Oh, Naveen says this is better than Netflix. Yes! There's a Tesla. You can actually buy a car on Amazon. That is so crazy. The perfect gift. Yes, we got our Drake's Cake break.
David is live streaming. We got it right up in the corner. I love this.
I am getting a complete body makeover right now.
Oh, that feels so good.
Oh my God, that is the coolest thing ever.
So awesome.
Shake, shake, shake.
Shake your zoo life.
This is fun. Drum roll, please. Dun, dun, dun. So many giveaways here at Sway TV.
And one person's gonna win a PS5. Which one will it be?
Here we go. I'm so excited. I can't even stand it.
And Sam's in the chat says, Sway TV rocks. Woo!
We're still going. Yeah, we don't sleep at Sway.
One of the best comments I've ever received, ever, hands down. DK's gonna love me even more. Look.
I cannot make this up.
We are awarding you with the PS5 as well.
4, 3,
2, 1.
All the time streaming live. We're sharing great products. We're doing great interviews and amazing giveaways.
Amazon, we love you, Amazon. So grateful for you guys and for Sway TV.
Thank you, Sway TV.
Amazon Live, woo!
I've had such a great time with all of you.
Shop attainment all the time.
It is a girl's dream come true for someone like me to be able to give you dating advice and shopping all in one platform.
We in the house, we having fun, we doing the thing, we swaying. Do, do, do. How did this show turn into like a full-on sing-along? This is fun! We love Sway TV! Let's sway! Let's sway!
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway!
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's go, let's sway, stay tuned! Woo!
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sway TV. I'm your host, Kimmy Seltzer, bringing you live my weekly show, Kimmy's Love Hub. This is a show about dating, relating, sometimes mating, but most of all, love. And that love starts with you, because when you love you, that's when other people will too. Sorry, we are a little delayed here because we have some very special people who are going to be guests today in the house, and we were just setting things up. This is going to be a juicy and really fun conversation. So before we get started, I want to make sure whoever is on here, you need to push that follow button, because you're going to want to interact with the show today. We have two special ladies from a podcast called Dateable Podcast, and we are going to talk about modern dating trends and mistakes that people are making. So you definitely want to hop on, and in order to be able to chat with us live, you have to click the follow button that you see on the video. And if you are on your mobile, by the way, because I know I had a hard time finding it myself, just click the video and then the follow button will pop up and you will be following. Also, by doing that, you will be entered into giveaways here at Sway TV. They do amazing giveaways and amazing products here on Amazon. So let's get into it. So I already see people that I know. Hi, Marnie. Oh my gosh. And Gil. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. Susan, welcome, welcome. Who else is here? Heather, hello, hello, welcome. And for those of you who don't know me, by the way, my name is Kimmy Seltzer, and I'm a confidence therapist. I'm a dating strategist and an image expert. So what does that all mean? It means that I help you. I help you find love, and I actually have a different kind of tactic. You know, most experts, they work from the inside out. I actually work from the outside in, and that means, because I'm an image consultant, I love helping people look and feel their best so they attract what they want. And that starts from the outside, working with your body language, the way you dress, your first impressions, all of the messages that you're sending out into the world, because that is crucial when it comes to attraction. How many times have you even thought about how you come across, for instance, on a date or in an online photo? We had a whole show last time talking about outside and inside and showing up, looking and feeling your best. So that's why I love this platform, by the way. I keep talking about it. The fact that I can talk about shopping and dating advice all here on Amazon Live, it is awesome. I love doing this. So, oh, and Michelle and Aaron. Oh, hello, everybody. And Beth. Oh my God, you heard that I'm awesome. Oh my gosh, such pressure. I hope I can be awesome for you. Oh, and I think I heard who you are. You're a friend of a friend. So Beth, nice to meet you. Hey Sharon, Deirdre. Oh my gosh, we have such a great crowd tonight. This is gonna be so fun. So, what we are going to talk about today, and the theme of today is kind of mistakes and trends that have been out there when it comes to dating and relationships. And as you all know, we've been in this little thing called the pandemic, and it certainly has been interesting, to say the least, right? And there's a lot of things that we've all learned about ourselves, about dating, how we connect with people during this process. And I gotta say, it's not all bad. I know that sounds weird. You know, I was talking to somebody today who actually has a boyfriend, and she's like, what is dating like out there? And I said, honestly, you know, for some people who think it's hard and who have shut down, it's been hard, right? But the people who didn't shut down and actually use this time to build skills where they feel even better than they were before the pandemic hit, those are the people who are thriving. Those are the people who are attracting love. I have like six people I can think of off the top of my head who are in amazing relationships, and they met their partner during the pandemic. So there's an interesting thing that's happening, and I will start off by saying this, and then I want to talk about my 5 dating archetypes, because my archetypes actually have existed before the pandemic, and it will exist after the pandemic. And I think as I go through my archetypes, you might find yourself in one of those. But here's the thing that I'm finding is that there's this thing that I am calling, and a lot of experts are calling, slow dating that's happening. And what I mean by that is that because the pandemic has allowed us to slow down and really take a look at ourselves and what's important about, you know, who we want to attract, who we are, what we want to work on to better ourselves, because we've slowed down, we're able to connect with people in different ways. So there's almost this paradox thing that has happened where that people are getting in better relationships than they ever have before. And I believe that's true because it's almost like going back in time when people really courted one another. Do you know what I mean? Like where people took the time to get to know each other because we have to, right? Like no longer are the days where we can just, swipe and go out and depend on the physical attraction, which is not a bad thing. We are relying on the connections that we're making with each other through video dating, through actually talking on this device called the telephone. You may not know that this is actually to be used to talk to people. Oh my God. I was talking to somebody, and this is a generation thing. How many of you here are, I mean, if you are millennial, I want to just do a shout out, say hello, because my millennial clients were having a really hard time knowing how to give good phone. Because they were saying to me, Kimmy, I don't know how to use this thing other than just texting and, doing my Snapchats and all that kind of thing. So I've actually worked with clients a lot on using the art of conversation to really connect with people. And with that, it's been a skill that's been beautiful. People are actually, getting to know one another, enjoying the connections. And so Aaron, are you a millennial? Or I don't know if you were just saying hi. Okay. Anyway, so I think each generation has also had different challenges during this time. Oh, Gen Xer here, pulling the phone from my parents' room and sitting in my closet. Deirdre, oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, we're just learning how to connect in such different ways. And here's the thing, and I'm interested in hearing the Dateable podcast gals, Yui and Julie, they know all the latest trends and the modern kind of stats that are out there. But I'd be really interested in knowing if they think that the video dating is here to stay, because I think it is. I actually think, I think two things are going to happen. If we ever do get out and about and come to this place of normalcy that we once knew and loved, where we actually hug people, we see people out and about, we actually flirt with each other, make eye contact with each other again, I think that there's going to be this effect of girls gone wild, and I think people are going to go nutso, right? And that's not a bad thing. I think we need to get something out of our system. We've been cooped up for too long. But then I think it's going to swing back to the other side, and there's going to be a little bit of kind of balance with it all. But I do believe that getting to know someone before you jump into, a physical date is here to stay. So if you're a little uncomfortable talking on the phone, having conversations, on Zoom or on a video date, on FaceTime, now's the time to learn how to do it. Because, you have to know different ways to connect with people these days. You even have to know the art of texting. The art of texting is super important, y'all. I was talking to a client the other day, and she's like, I hate texting. I said, I understand that you hate texting, but nowadays it's a way to stay connected with the guy that you're interested in, because we're having longer periods apart from one another, so you have to stay engaged, and everybody's so busy. So how else are you going to drop your hankies and let the guys know that you're still interested? So the art of texting is super, super important. So anyway, when these ladies come on, we're going to talk all about what the latest trends are. However, I would like to go over some trends and mistakes that I've seen happen over time. Now, this is before the pandemic hit. I feel like these are challenges that women have. Now, I know there's some men listening. If you men are here, say, oh, I said if, so depressing. Well, there's a lot of ifs out there. We don't know what will happen, right? But all we know is what is happening right now. And that's really all you can worry about and all you can do. And in fact, that's not a bad thing, because how many times do we worry about what's going to happen, coming up into the future, and then we have all this anxiety about it? Or we get weighed down from things of the past, and maybe those are relationships we've been hurt in, past patterns that have happened, that we're not present. right? And so if we stay present and we can just work on things that are difficult and challenging right now and build those skills and work on things that we know we have to work on. So no matter what happens, we come out better than we were before. And that's really what it's all about. So that leads me to the next thing that I wanted to share with you on. Now, before the pandemic hit, one of the services that I provided, and actually I'm just getting back at it again now that LA has opened up again. I'm so excited. I just signed my first client doing another in-person experience. One of the things that I love to do is to go out into the world and be a wing gal for someone. And what I do in these wing gal sessions, now if you need to shop, we go shopping first, and I teach you about your body type. We get some good dating wear. You know that I like to talk about that a lot here on the show. And then we go out on the town and we flirt. And I teach you how to meet people out in the real world. Yes, the opposite sex, just so you know, they are in the grocery stores, they are in markets, they are in the coffee shops. I think sometimes people just compartmentalize their dating life to the apps, or now I'm gonna work on my dating life. But honestly, working on your dating life should be something that you always have on your mind. That men and women are everywhere, everywhere. And to open up your eyes and open up your mind so that you know who's looking at you, so you know who you're attracting and who are you connecting to. Because if you don't give that energy out and you don't put it out there, you don't turn your cab light on, people are not going to approach you. And so when I was doing these wing gal sessions, it was really informative. You know, I got to see people in their prime, in their element, on what's really happening. You know, it's one thing to sit down and talk to someone on the phone and give a coaching session, or even in Zoom, and have them report to me what they think is happening. But there's nothing like actually seeing what's happening out there in the real world. So I'll give you an example. There was one woman, she called me up and she said, Kim, I don't know what's happening because I've done a ton of work on myself. I went to therapy for years. I know my issues. I've gotten over them. I really am ready to meet a man. But every time I go out to a social event or I'm out on a date, I never get asked out, or I never get asked out back to the second date. So I said, wow, okay, well, let's see what's going on. I'm kind of all about show me, don't tell me, right? So I picked her up, and I'll never forget this. I was sitting in the car, and I remember her coming out of the hotel, and I see this woman, and she's, you know, dressed in kind of these dreary clothes, and she's looking down, and she has like her, you know, arms kind of crossed, and she has this like frowny face on, and she's just kind of like waiting at the, you know, at the corner. And I see her, and I'm like waving to her. I said, hey, it's Kimmy. And she's like, she goes like this to me. So I'm like, okay, so I already saw the problem here, right? And when she came into my car, she's like, hi, nice to meet you, in a really like kind of serious tone. And when we went out, I proceeded to see exactly what was going wrong for her, is that her body language was so closed off, that she had a lot of things on her mind. She was thinking so much that she didn't realize how much she was leaking negative energy. It was like oozing from her. It was all over her body. And so, you know, when I worked with her on her body language and her messages and how she came across, and also how she was flirting, how she was not flirting. She wasn't flirting at all, y'all. Like she had that look of don't come near me. She might as well have had a stop sign just held up right next to her. So after we did a lot of work and coaching, by the end of the night, she was smiling, we were having fun, and we had like guys around us, like bees to honey. And so she thought I planted those guys. People always think I plant guys. I don't know that many people. I know a lot of people, but I don't know that many people. And when after the experience, she's like, Kim, this never happens to me. I said, yeah, I believe that, because you're never this open and friendly back home. So she went back home and her life changed. You know, that was the beginning to a beautiful new story that she had when she did the work. So, oh, Mike, thank you. Oh, I love that you love my advice, and I'd love to hear anything that helped you. Please chat that out there. I'd love to help you even more. And if there are things, by the way, that you all need personal help with, definitely get in touch with me. Like I offer these free breakthrough calls where you can just, call and we'll chat about what's going on in your love life and how I can help. And you can do that by going to my site, KimmySeltzer.com, or my Instagram at Kimmy Seltzer. I'm pretty much at Kimmy Seltzer at every social media, so you can find me, Kimmy. So here's the thing that I realized. When I was out there in the world, after I would do these wing girl sessions, I would come back and I would write reports. And I write reports on all the people that I did these wing gal sessions with, and both men and women. And what I found is that I was writing a lot of the similar things. I'm like, wow, there are some patterns here. And I say that because what I'm about to share with you, my 5 dating archetypes, is not to say, oh, what's wrong with you, but rather, hey, these are challenges that are common, that many people have, and that I have helped so many get over and overcome. And it's kind of fun once you know what your archetype is. There's kind of these secret weapons that I have to help you get unstuck and get out of your archetype so that you attract something different. Because here's the thing, like nowadays, you heard me introduce myself. I call myself a dating strategist more than anything else because I believe that people are pretty savvy these days. I know a lot of you have maybe done some internal work. Some of you have had therapy. Some of you had mentors in your life. However, I think what you all need is action. You need an action plan, and that means coming up with a strategy, just like a dating plan, like a business plan, so that you get over some of the things that are hard for you. Like, it's hard to see yourself. That's why I love these wing gal sessions. Right? It's really difficult to have a bird's eye view of yourself and say, oh, wow, I didn't know that I did that. I was, for instance, I was coaching a guy, and every time he talked to a pretty woman, he would go like this. He would take his left arm and he'd take it and he'd put it across his right arm. And he would talk to a pretty girl and he'd be like, hi. Now, just that stature, he looked totally anxious. He looked really like he had low self-esteem, that he was really nervous. And so he had no clue that he was doing that. So I said to him, hey, do you know that every time you talk to a pretty woman, you're doing this? And he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I had no clue that I did that. It turns out, and this is the therapist in me, after we went and did a little history digging, it turns out that every time he would get reprimanded from his mother, who he said was very overbearing and kind of overwhelming, he would do this. He would do this. And so when he felt insecure in the presence of a woman who he found overwhelming, he would do this. And so it was such a psychological kind of connect for him that as soon as we got rid of it, he got rid of his nerves and his anxiety went way down, and he came across as much more confident when he was talking to these women. So these are the things, these are the kind of magic kind of moments that happen when I see people in their element. But going back to my archetype, now I will be developing archetypes for you men out there. But right now I have one for women, and I call it the dating archetype guide that I have. Now, you can learn what archetype you are by going to my Instagram at Kimmy Seltzer. You click on the link, that little long link tree link, and you'll see it's called the Dating Archetype Quiz. Now, if you can see this, you will get, once you do the quiz, you will get one of these. It's my archetype guide. And by downloading that, you'll get to see all the archetypes. However, let me just say this. Everybody has characteristics of probably more than one. In fact, you may have characteristics and traits of all of them, right? However, there's usually one that stands out that really just is one that you're like, okay, this is the thing that keeps happening to me. Now there's 5 of them. And I know that we're gonna be bringing on the Dateable gals pretty soon, but I just wanna go over the 5 archetypes. So we have the chief. Okay, so the chief women run their love life like a business. They are, they're very independent, they're very successful, you're a high achiever, you tend to think a lot, and you overproduce sometimes your dates. So that is a little bit about the chief. Now, I also have the list lady. The list lady are you ladies, I think this is a lady that shows up a lot. You've either been hurt before, and so you are going to make sure that you're not going to attract the same guy again. And you do that by making a list of qualifications that the guy must have. And if you don't check off one of these boxes, then she's not going to give you a chance. Like, that's basically the list lady. And the problem with the list lady is that, and this is how it shows up on dates, is that usually you go into a date like an interview. Where were you the night of, kind of thing. And so the guy ends up feeling like he's interrogated, and he just doesn't feel attracted to you because it was a Q&A session. Okay, that's my list lady. My dame is, okay, so the dame is actually a female knight. I don't know if you knew that. She has the guard on so thick that a man can't even make a dent in that. And the reason why she has her guard up is that she's been hurt and she doesn't trust. And so it's really hard for a guy to feel you. Do you ever get feedback where the guy is like, I don't know. I just didn't feel the chemistry. I don't know. I didn't feel like she was like real. Like she just kind of just sat there, You might freeze, or you might deflect and just keep asking, the man questions because you don't want to talk about yourself. You don't want, the man to get too close to you with your body language. So there's something about you that pushes guys away. And then, I see some ladies are in the house. I'll go over my 2 last archetypes, and then I'm gonna introduce you ladies. I have my friend zone gal, and my friend zone gal, okay, there's 2 different versions of my friend zone gal. The first version is you're just like one of the guys. Like, you love to hang out, you love to watch sports, and you know a lot about business, and you give guys high fives, and you can just hang with the best of them. You have a ton of guy friends. You don't like dressing girly, and you want a guy to just hang with you, right? Like, that's the friend zone gal. The other friend zone gal is you're just so nice. I used to call you, you're a nice girl, but ... These were the guys who are like, yeah, she's so nice, but I didn't really feel attracted to her. And it's just, you don't turn on the sexual flair, to a guy. Like, you're really sweet, and like a guy would probably think that you're just like his sister, but he can't imagine dating you. Okay, so that's the nice girl. And then finally, and like drum roll with this one, and this one is a very common one, and just to throw myself under the bus, I used to be this one, is the narcissist magnet. Yeah, the narcissist magnet. So the narcissist magnet ladies, actually, you love flirting. You always look really put together. You're very capable. In fact, like, you're amazing, and like guys really find you amazing. So much so that you are a great audience for men. You will shapeshift into what men want you to see because you know exactly what they like. But here's the problem, is that you don't share anything about yourself, and you have a really hard time like showing up for you, that it's much more comfortable making them feel amazing. And you tend to be a little bit of a people pleaser as well. And because of that, you attract narcissists, because guess why? The narcissists love you. You make them feel amazing. And guess what? Until the time comes when you want a little love and you want a little attention, and guess what? Those guys are nowhere. But it was because of how you set up that interaction to begin with. So what are all you? I see some people say, oh, I might be the list lady, oops, yeah. You know, as I'm going through this, as I said again, you may hear yourself in all of these different, archetypes, but there might be one that, just might stand out. And again, if you want to know what you are, go to my Instagram handle at Kimmy Seltzer, click the link, you'll find my quiz in there, and you'll get the free guide with it. Okay. Oh, my girlfriend Olivia is the people pleaser one. Aaron, does that mean you're a narcissist? I don't, I hope not. No, but people pleasers actually could also be the nice girl, like it plays out in different ways. And again, this is not like a total science, but these are just characteristics that I've seen common. Oh my gosh, hi Julie, and hi Yui, it's good to see you. So I have in the house two very special women that I've gotten to know over the past year. They have this amazing podcast that I was honored to be on. I think that's how we first connected. It's called Dateable. You must check it out. It is amazing. These women are just, they're trending. Like If I were to say if there's a dating trend happening right now, I would say that you ladies are it. I'm just saying, like, your podcast is it. So anyway, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Sure can. Hi, Kimmy.
Thanks for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, so excited to have you. Oh, and you definitely like freshened up. You look.
Oh my God, yes. I literally just worked out when we did our sound check, and I was like, I cannot go live like this, girl. Like, I gotta look good for this date.
What's so funny to me is I thought you looked amazing and gorgeous, and I thought you were like all ready. So when you were like, no, this whole thing, I gotta go change. Like, because you're both gorgeous. So anyway, because I feel like I just went into my Facebook group and I said the same thing that you just said. I said, I feel like I just am about to go on a date, and I am, like with you ladies. So anyway, why don't you introduce yourselves and your podcast and tell a little bit about who you are?
Awesome. Well, I'll go first, I guess. I'm Yue. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Dateable podcast. And we've been podcasting for 5 years, which started with two friends just wanting to talk about dating and funny dating stories, has turned into some deep, deep stuff in our 12th season, 5 years later. And just a little backstory, Julie and I met through a mutual friend when I first moved to San Francisco, and Julie had been dating in San Francisco for most of her adult life, and I was extremely new. So we had a lot of notes to compare and share.
Yes. Well, I'm like, how do I even top that? But I'm Julie. I'm the other co-host of Dateable. And like Yue mentioned, we started off around like dating stories, and we expanded to just so much more. And I think at this point, we're really trying to get to like the root of like why we all do the things we do and what's happening in dating culture. I feel like with COVID, it was like another whole shift of dating culture. Like we already thought things were crazy with modern dating, and that just took a whole new turn.
Yep. Oh my God, right? Like it has been such a roller coaster. I don't know if you heard me talk earlier, but I was saying, I definitely have seen things that have been for the worst, but actually there's been a lot of good things that have come out of this pandemic.
Totally.
Where people are learning how to do more of that slow dating and really getting to know people before they just swipe and meet, right? And so that is kind of what I was, talking about before, but I am so interested in hearing some of the things that you are hearing out there because you are up and up on all of it. And then I can share too, like maybe some clients have experienced the same thing.
Absolutely. And like you said, there has been some really silver linings through all this, but then there's also been undoubtedly, it's been harder to date too. I mean, there's a lot more you have to vet with someone in terms of like safety and all that was just never an issue before. So it's had its pros and cons, I think is a good way to say it for COVID times.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what? Well, let's go to the cons first. Let's just dig in.
Let's go negative first. I like
negative,
it.
Then we can end positive with all our products and whatnot. And if anybody has like questions too, kind of the down and dirty.
I mean, I think I'm glad that we're starting negative because I think a lot of times we do. But I think that sounded weird, but
I'm so happy we're starting negative. Yeah.
But I think a lot of times people do sugarcoat it, and like I am actively dating right now, and there's a lot of loneliness that's happening right now in the pandemic. So I think we do need to kind of like honor that is like a real thing going on, and also like I mentioned, just. It is, you're kind of putting yourself at risk every date you go on, where that was not a thing before. So I do want to I think it's good that we're starting here because I think sometimes it like doesn't fully touch people's real feelings of how they felt during this time.
It's so true. And I think that a lot of times people were sugarcoating it to cover up the fact that there is so much loneliness and depression. Right. And obviously, like as a therapist, I know a lot of mental health issues have like exacerbated even during this time, which in fact does impact dating. So
totally.
Yeah, like I'd love to hear like your thoughts and what are you seeing or hearing about?
I think one of the cons with what's happening during COVID and finding love is that the loneliness is amplified, which could turn into behaviors that may not be reasonable or may not be good for you. So we've seen behavior that's a little bit erratic or irrational. This new term turbo dating came about where people are having like 1 week, 2 week, 1 month relationships that go from 0 to 60.
Yes.
And those are great for people to get themselves out there. But since we're talking about the cons, I think one of the negative downfalls with these turbo relationships is that you're setting yourself up for so much disappointment. So you get your emotions all riled up and then in the end it doesn't work out. So there's that kind of feeling like deflation, a little bit of exhaustion that we're seeing now towards the end of COVID.
Totally. And we've heard like people reference this term dating trauma. It's like when all this like built up, you know, like it's like if you get ghosted once, no big deal. But when you get ghosted over and over again, or you have a turbo relationship where you thought you met the one and then it ended and then you're like back on the merry-go-round again, it kind of does eat at people's, you know, like soul in a way. So I think that is a very real thing. And like Yue said, it's great people are getting into relationships, but I think sometimes it's hard to like manage expectations. Like I've definitely seen this with myself, but also all the people in our community is like, sometimes you'll get really excited about someone virtually that you've met and you realize like that you've never actually met this person in real life. And if you ask someone years ago, like if that would be a real relationship, but people are considering people they've met one time to be like date 5, when in reality it's still date 1 because it's the first time you're actually meeting. It's a fine line of like all the virtual stuff. It's great because you get excited to meet, but it's also you can meet and then there's like a total disconnect.
You know what's so funny about that? And I'm so embarrassed to say that I had to ask somebody because someone wrote me IRL, like, you know, like, do you want to
I think we did.
And I said, what is that? Kim.
Oh, like, come on, Kimmy.
No, I swear to God, I'm throwing myself under the bus yet again, because I always do. No, I really did. But the fact that that's even like a term in real life, like, of course it's real life, but no, to your point, like now there's almost has to be this like, like we have to manage that expectation around, and even with the way that we're communicating as well, you know, like, I don't know, I'm also finding it so intrusive these days because now people are just expecting to hop on Zoom, so to speak, you know, whereas like, no, you don't earn that. You don't earn the fact that I need to like get date ready for you to even go on Zoom. And so it is so true.
Kimmy, I think you bring up a really good point with the term IRL, because if we kind of dissect where that term came from, it implies that we live in two parallel universes. We've got this virtual world and we've got this, I guess, quote unquote, real world. And what's been happening with online dating and the way we communicate is that we live in a virtual world And then we have to marry that with our real world. And that's where the conflicts really arise. And during COVID, I think everyone's been living in the virtual world. And what we're seeing now is bring that virtual relationship into reality. I think there's a hard transition there. And I think that's the cause of a lot of the kind of negative side effects we're seeing.
Oh my God, it's like WandaVision. Did you watch that?
It really is. It really
Seriously.
is. Well, like before COVID, there was always this thing like, it's not real till you met in real life. Like that was like the mentality we were all in. And in COVID times, it switched. And I think there definitely was some positives, which we'll get to the positives of, you know, deeper connection and all that. But the negative is there was a stat actually that the longer you go to meeting someone, the more you make up and fill in the blanks in your mind. So you go there and you have like a huge expectation of this person, like especially if you've been like texting every day, you like think that you're like, this is your soulmate, and then you get there and you're both like, why doesn't this jive in real life?
Right, so it's like inflated kind of this vision that you have of them. Yeah, that's interesting.
Haven't we all been there? We all been there. We imagine this relationship, we internalize it, we create a storyline around it. But in reality, we know that people are never the way you imagine them to be. No. So it's that goes back to that disappointment factor again.
Yeah, but this like almost makes like the reality, like before COVID, the fantasy, like you would kind of like build that up yourself. But now it's actually real because it's happening in this like virtual world, but it's not correlating with the real world.
It is strange. It is strange. And I think you bring up a really good point about like the transition, because there's this feeling in the air, and I don't know if you're feeling it too, just with the way that people are talking. It's almost like we're on standby, you know, it's like a commercial break, you know, and we're like waiting for, like, I hear all the time, waiting for my shot, I'm waiting for my shot, then I'll do this, then I'll do that. But right, like what is the new world going to look like when we peek our, you know, head out? And so how do we prepare for that, right? Like what's the ammunition that we need so that when we go out, we can slowly get out there and do what we did before, but also bring some tools with us that we're leaving behind, but I think that are actually good, you know, like, and this is like kind of the good stuff too.
Totally. I'm also seeing already on dating profiles their vaccine card. So that's already starting to happen. Yeah. Like I think like everyone, there's a lot of baked in prompts that use like, oh, when I get the vaccine or something, but I've actually seen people replace their profile photos with their vaccine card photo.
Oh my God. Do you think like when we go on dates, like are people talking about this, that they'll be like we'll have to show each other? If
maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Like maybe they'll be like, okay, STDs. Yes. Do you have like, right? Like there's like different things that we'll have to check off before we even date someone.
Kimmy, we're just all going to walk around with QR codes and we scan each other's QR codes. It will pull up all of your medical history,
right?
Including your childhood traumas and your therapy bills. That's
a Black Mirror episode for sure. Do you guys watch Black Mirror? There was an episode like that. Oh my God.
Just for the record, that is not our dating prediction. That is UA's sarcasm for anyone
I predict
anyone new to our show. They're like, these are a bunch of QAnon conspiracy theorists over here.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Yeah, no, but I think that these are things to like think about, because I do believe that it is going to be a conversation when we first meet people.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah. What are some other like trends? And it doesn't necessarily have to be the bad stuff. We can get into the good stuff too.
Yeah.
What do you guys
think,
noticing?
Kimmy, you know, for your expertise, which is, we talked about this image consultant realm that you're in, how to look your best in person, how to dress for a date. And now there's this whole other category of how to look good on camera, how to look good for virtual dates. And we found that you got to have a different skill set of making yourself look good on camera versus in real life. And sometimes people's looks don't translate in real life. You might be able to get a sense of their energy, but there's still something missing when it comes to video. So I'm basically setting this up for Julie because Julie has a personal experience with this.
Yeah, I mean, 100% agree on like video does not always transfer over. I have definitely gone on dates with people and they looked actually, I didn't think this was possible before COVID, was that people could look better on video. Like at the beginning of COVID, I was like, oh my God, I'm afraid to do video because I don't want that to be my first impression of me on video when I feel awkward. But I've actually encountered the opposite. And I've heard from a lot of people in our community that it goes both ways too. So that being said, though, I will turn this into a positive because I think we're at the point to go to positives now. I think the positive, though, is yes, like we talked about the dangers of falling into this like virtual relationship that takes weeks and weeks to meet up and you get all this idea in your head. That being said, I still think this idea of doing like a pre-date screen, whether that's from phone or video, I think that's here to stay because personally, it saves so much time. Like the amount of time that we used to spend getting ready for dates and then meeting someone for like an hour, if it just like the conversation couldn't even flow at all. I think too, it like does get you more excited to meet when you actually meet. So I think it's all about striking the balance of having enough screen conversation, looking at it as a screen, not like we're in a relationship because we've talked 4 times on the phone. And then obviously going down that path of, you know, talking forever virtually.
Right, right. I was saying that too before you came on. I do believe that that's a good thing, and actually people having conversations before they meet. There's something to be said about even having that connection before you meet, and whether it's a phone call or a video date, I mean, I think there's just value in that. So yeah,
100%. Like before COVID, I was guilty that sometimes I wouldn't even save someone's name in my phone because I'm like, oh, there's a pretty good chance I'll never see this person. It's like 50-50. And I must say, like, since I've been dating in COVID, which is like beginning of this year, to be honest, was more when it really started to ramp up for me, just out of other personal things that were going on. And I haven't had that mentality. I've been like, okay, this is a real person I'm meeting. And even if like the date wasn't fireworks or there was still a disconnect from the like initial chemistry that I thought was there virtually, it still was a good time. Like there was very few that I'm like, oh my God, this was like painful, like nails on the chalkboard type of dates that I think a lot of people were going on before. So if we could at least eliminate those, it will reduce that dating trauma and just like make people like, you know, a little more positive when they are going out and dating.
Yeah, wait, we have a question that actually, Beth, this is a great question. So she's asking, it's kind of what you're talking about. She's curious, what is the appropriate amount of times texting back and forth before you speak or actually meet? So yeah, that is, you know, I mean, I'll just say from my standpoint, I don't know if you have any like stats or things to talk about that, but I think that like I'm not a black and white kind of gal where, you know, you can do X amount of times before you can do this. Like, you know, situations are different, people's connections are different, people's ages are different. So I don't think there's like an appropriate amount of times. But here's what I will say is that I've seen, and this is the thing, when I coach people, I go into their profiles and I'm looking at their conversations because often I get, Kim, I don't know why that guy didn't like ask me out, or, you know, the guy's like, this chick just dropped me, like what's going on, you know? And then when I look at their conversations, I see exactly what happens. And here's something that's really common that I see is that I'll see text exchanges go on and on and on and like literally for days. Like there was this one woman who said to me that she had a text exchange go on for an entire week. I said, you mean to tell me that you've been DMing each other for an entire week and you have never talked on the phone? And she's like, no, he won't do it. And I said, well, you're not really like hinting either. And when I looked at their text exchanges, they weren't even like talking about anything. They were just kind of doing this, what I call parallel talking. They were reporting at each other. How was your day? My day was good. I did this today. I did that today. Like there weren't even connecting. So it was no wonder that they like didn't progress. And so, Beth, in answer to your question, anytime it goes on too long like that, there's no sense of like, at least opportunity to think about getting on the phone, that is way too long. And so here's the thing. Women will say, yeah, but the guy's not asking. Well, women, you can do things to drop the hanky to get the guy to move a little bit forward. Like you could say things like, oh my God, I'm loving this conversation. I wonder what your voice sounds like. And just kind of drop that hanky so that the guy says, oh yeah, like let's get on the phone, or I wonder what you look like, IRL, like that kind of thing. And so there are things that women can do. And then men, yes, you need to ask the women to do these things like phone calls and Zooms. Like we want to do that, and I think a lot of times guys just get a little bit shy. So I don't know what you ladies think about that, but that's just something that I'm seeing that's happening a lot. And that's why people aren't meeting, is because the text exchanges are going on way too long.
This is why we love you, Kimmy, because you are not a typical dating expert who's like, if you've been texting for 2.5 days, you got to get on a phone call. Like you said, there are no rules around how to get off texting. But to Beth's question, it gets to a point where you're like, is this going anywhere? And I think that's a good barometer for it's time to move this forward. It's not about we need to text 3 times before we get on the phone. When you listen to your gut and it's telling you, I think we need to take this to the next platform, that's when you should move it. I think dropping the hanky is a great idea. There are some ways that you can do that where maybe it's like, oh, I have such a great story from today, but too much to text. Right.
Yeah,
so then
that's a good one.
Kind of shows like, oh, I'd rather tell you on the phone because there's just so many voices involved. I'm very animated. And there's also nothing wrong with saying, I would love to get on a phone with you and have a phone call. I actually find that extremely sexy and confident, and it shows that you're taking control of the situation. And it's 2021. I think there's nothing wrong with women initiating that next level. But what we've heard from previous guests is the general rule of thumb is once you've learned, let's say 3 substantial things about the other person, not like their weather preferences or what they have for dinner. You did not learn anything. But 3 substantial things, that's a good time to take everything to the next level, whether that's offline or to a phone call.
100%. I was going to say something very similar. I love that 3, like, again, it's ballpark 3. It's give or take. It's not exact science. But I think what it does is when someone messages like you immediately and is like, want to do a video call? Like it's aggressive.
Oh
like
my God.
male or female. Yeah, it's super aggressive.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. And like when that happens to me, I'm like, oh my God, you've said this to about 100 other women. Like it doesn't make you feel like they're trying to get to know you in any way. And then the opposite is what you described when it goes on for days and days. So I think what this 3-ish like ballpark exchange kind of gets you like past the small talk that you don't really want on the date anyways. And like in COVID times, date could be a phone call. It could be a video call, like any progression. I think that's really what we're looking for is a sign of, you can even move it from dating app to text to phone to video. Like there's ways to make that progression and still move slowly, but feel like you're moving forward opposed to just staying in a dating app for, 10 days. And you're just like, oh my God, is this ever going to go anywhere?
It's so true. And the chat is kind of blowing up right now because now we have the men talking to the women. And this is great. See, this is a good conversation because, and this is exactly what I was saying, because Beth was like, well, these guys aren't, asking me out. I just have these chats go on and on and on. But then Matthew is saying from his standpoint, a man wants the woman to open that door because a lot of men are afraid of rejection. And, that's the thing. Like, and I say this all the time, both men and women have a responsibility and approachability and connection. I truly believe that, and it's like if the women make it a little bit easier for the men and the men make it a little bit easier for the women, we'd all be in a really good place. But we're at this like stalemate right now and we're all like waiting for each other.
Right.
And so, I mean, this is where the more the like strategy and coaching comes in that we're talking about. But I love this kind of conversation in that knowing that there's some guidelines, and it's so true because there are some guys, and I've seen this before, where guys will just go in like gangbusters and before even saying hi, say, hey, what's your number?
Right. It's too much. It's too much. And I think, honestly, if we're going to bring this back to trends, a lot of it is the fallout of Me Too, is that a lot of men are, you know, timid to make those moves because no longer it's just it is rejection too, but it's also like you're coming off as, you know, a harasser, like someone that's like bugging the woman. So I think there is a lot of compassion that we need to have. And honestly, you can just blame COVID. Just be like, hey, I'd love to like you know, COVID's given us so much. We might as well have it help us, our dating lives. Like, I'll just ask someone like, hey, like, how have you been approaching COVID dating? Like, would you be down to do a phone call? That easy.
Right. When in doubt, blame COVID. Although I will say, I don't know
is
if
that on a t-shirt?
Yeah. Oh, I know, right? We should. Is that in your products on Amazon? We should.
It should be.
We should have that for our Amazon little store up here. Maybe we'll create one, and then we'll have you on next. But here's the thing with the COVID thing, and I don't know about you, but I think also people are overusing it, right? Like we're talking extremes.
Yeah,
where I see people entering conversations with, hey, how's COVID treating you? I mean, what the hell?
My God, no.
That's
so boring. I feel like that was like the line last March, but now it's like 1 year later.
Yeah,
like we need new material.
That was
new material.
Exactly. That was so 2020.
Right, exactly. Like, come on. But I think actually you bring up a good point. I think this is actually like going to like pros and cons of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I think the pro is that a lot of us, especially in early stages of COVID, when you really weren't meeting people, I think like dating did start to open up more like around the summer. And again, depending on your location and COVID restrictions and weather and all those factors. But I think at the beginning, a lot of us did a lot of deep self-work. And it's like, what do I really want? And I think anyone that got more clarity, like I feel like can come into dating stronger. But then there's also a lot of people that honestly are like grasping because they're just so lonely right now. So I think that's kind of like the darker side of it. So what makes it, I guess, better is that you could find other people that are in the same boat as you if you've done the work. And what makes it a little harder is sometimes like someone that wants to hang out all the time, it might not be because they really want a relationship. It might be because they're lonely or they haven't hooked up in a while. Like there's a lot of that stuff going on too.
Yes, that is a really, really good point. I want to do like a commercial break for a second because I know that there might be some people in your audience and they're not familiar with this format. And I want to make sure, because we're having a really good like chat and conversation here. If you are just joining us and you haven't before, make sure you click the follow button so that you can interact with us. You can put your questions into the chat and we will hopefully have some answers for you. You are on with Sway TV Live, and welcome. This is Kimmy's Love Hub, and we're on with the Dateable gals, Dateable podcast. Yue and Julie, they're amazing, and we're talking about modern dating trends and mistakes. So yeah, I mean, Julie, you bring up a really good point about like the pros and cons, like on both sides. You know how you were talking about how things were being sped up before? So on the flip side, on the good side, there's this acceleration happening with people in relationships that's been a beautiful thing. And I don't know if you've heard that. So like people and couples who maybe met right as the pandemic was hitting or even a little bit before, their relationship accelerated and for really good things and reason. And they learned how to like navigate the waters in a really fast way. But I think it's a good sign for them, the fact that they were able to like work with each other during this time. I don't know if you guys were hearing that too.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I was just about to say something that I think it's a really positive trend, is that people are making bold decisions and they are moving forward with their lives. Even though life paused for a year, people have found the peace in themselves to move forward with something, whether it's quitting a job that they hate or getting out of a relationship that's toxic or telling someone that they love them, which is what I did in my situation because I had been holding out for so long. I felt like it's now or never. And I feel really empowered by these these stories because for so long we were waiting for things to happen to us. So we think it's a domino effect. If I get the job of my dreams, if I find the partner of my dreams, then my life will be great. But I think people really took control of their lives during this time. So they wanted to either strengthen their relationships or get out of the relationships that are no longer doing them any good. So I think it goes into what you were saying, Kimmy. Some relationships have really skyrocketed and progressed because couples really had to work through some issues. I can speak for myself. There were some rocky periods in my relationship at the beginning of COVID, specifically March and April. But once we got through those 2 months, I feel like we are the strongest we've ever been. But we also have some friends who are going through divorces that were starting already before COVID, but I think COVID really sealed the deal for them.
That is interesting. And things like, it's like things that maybe were a problem that were just kind of floating at the surface, like completely bubbled up, right? And then it's like things kind of exploded. And there's somebody who wrote in the chat, and it's true, like people are approaching COVID differently, and that's an important conversation in the way that people navigated the risk and the responsibility, health issues, social issues. But, you know, I think you're really just seeing people at their best and their worst, you know, during these times. I mean, that's it's just been really interesting.
No one has time for bullshit anymore. I think that's really what the difference is. Like, you know, like I don't know if we can swear on here, but like,
I don't know, but you just did. Either, but
okay, I'll just say F boys. F boys. We all know what we're talking about. Okay, F boys. Everyone knows what this is, but we always joke that like F boys were canceled because, you know, no one has, like, they're still out there trying to like hit up women, especially like, you know, during now that the vaccine is out too, there's a whole line for them. But like women's threshold, I think in that situation, I shouldn't say just women. There are F girls out there too. It's both. Yeah. But like, you know, like anyone that's like wasting your time, clearly, I think that actually is like one of the real, you know, epiphanies like we've both had during this time of like why people are still, you know, single if they don't want to be single. A lot of it is because it's wasted time on people that really were not going to like meet them for where they are. And ultimately, like if you want something, I think this pandemic too is like kind of made us like, you know, it's like life's too short. So it's like, I'm going to figure out, like, I'm not going to waste time on people that are wasting time on me, essentially.
Oh my God. I want to talk about that whole thing that you just said, the wasting time. I've been hearing this from so many clients. I don't want to waste time. And even somebody in the chat said that, like, because the texts are wasting time. And here's a paradox that I am also seeing with that, is that in efforts of wasting time, people are wasting time because they're saying, I don't want to waste time having this conversation, but then they're not doing anything, and then they're wasting time not doing anything. So it's like, do you know what I mean by that?
No, it's a totally good, valid point. I can like actually think of an example on dating that came up for me recently. Is I actually like proposed to someone doing a phone call because I prefer to do that before a video call. In the response, and I'll just caveat that like every other man has totally met me with this and it has not been a problem. But the response on this was like, it's 2021, everyone's doing video, I don't want to waste any time. And in my response, like I'm like, I get it, because I'm like, I get that people just don't want to deal with the bullshit, and like this guy doesn't know me, maybe I am gonna waste his time. But then on the other side, it's like you have to also give people a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Like I think there's, you know, cutting people when it's proven that they're wasting your time, but just to make you're wasting my time because you hypothetically think that could also kind of, to your point, Kimmy, kind of shoot you in the foot, because then you're like really not hitting your end goal of like meeting that person or whatever your goal is.
Exactly. And a lot of times it's a defense, right? Like, you know, it could be, well, I'm scared, I'm not trusting, so I don't want to waste time. But then, you know, what if you actually took the time to do something different for yourself, that maybe you just practice on flirting. You don't have to commit to anything, but just maybe get a handle on a skill that you don't know or you're not comfortable with. And that way you're not wasting time. And oh, by the way, as you're doing that, you might actually meet somebody,
Right.
So I think, again, like another thing I was seeing is that people just like black and white it, like either I'm doing this or I'm not doing that, kind of thing. And dating does not and should not be that way.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the wasting time is definitely not black and white, because I think like if you've, like you're in a situation that it's clearly you're just not on the same page, right? I think there are a lot of people that have been holding on to those types of things because it's COVID. I don't want to be lonely. It's hard to date other people. And I think those are the ones that like it's good to get clarity and like see what you ultimately want if they're not doing it. But I agree with you. It's definitely not 100% black and white. I don't want to waste time.
Right. Oh my God. Well, this is such a good conversation. Obviously, like it's something that a lot of people are struggling with. I know that you have had some people in your community ask you some dating questions, and I thought it would be fun to go over some questions. And by the way, if you're just joining us and you have any dating questions, please, like, we're all going to be like the Dating Counsel, as you ladies had that such a great idea to do this. And I think we could debate a little bit. I mean, I think we're already doing it, but the hard part is the three of us agree on so much. I don't know how much there is to debate, but I'd love to hear, maybe start out with some of the questions that your audience has, and then if anyone has questions here, we can answer them live.
Perfect. Yeah. So this is a question we hear quite a bit, and we've tried to answer it in so many different ways. I would love to see your take on it, Kimmy, as well.
Okay.
Is how early is too early to communicate what you're looking for in a relationship? Is it pre-first date, on the first date, or give it 3 dates before you lay it all out there? And what I think a lot of people ask this with the intention of asking, are you looking for a committed relationship / marriage, or are you just looking for something casual? But for some reason in modern dating, it's really hard for us to ask that question.
Oh, such a good question. Okay. I have a couple stories to help answer that question, because just the other day this came up with a client, and she texted me her exchange with this guy. She literally just met him, and the second text he sent her, "What are you looking for in a relationship?" I'm like, oh, it's such a buzzkill, and it's such a huge question. Like, how are you supposed to answer it? And here's the reality, is that often we have an agenda, or we think we want something, but when we have a beautiful connection with someone, that all goes away and is out the window. Like, we may think, oh, I'm so ready for that relationship, and then you start meeting people and you're like, actually, this is kind of fun. I think I'll be single for a little bit. I just think that it's a better question to ask is, what is your mission right now? Versus what do you want in a relationship, and where are you at? I actually have my clients write out a mission statement, like a business mission statement, but I do dating mission statement. And I have them gain real clarity on what they can do in the next 3 months to meet what they're looking for in their goals. And I always say, by the way, it shouldn't be, oh, get a boyfriend or get a girlfriend. It's more about the skills and the things they want to work on. And I'm telling you, when they start focusing on that and not what they're looking for, is when they're more present and they actually find someone.
Kimmy, can you give some an example?
Yeah. So there's a woman that I worked with that she said, Kimmy, find me my soulmate. Like, that was her first thing. I said, okay, I will help you. However, there may be some things we need to do along the way. Now, she didn't know, and she didn't have the awareness that really what she needed to do was love herself. She was looking outside of herself for the soulmate in order to love. And what she didn't realize, it was reversed. But instead of just saying, oh, just love yourself, it was more important for her to just list out the things that were difficult for her currently when it came to dating and relating and all that kind of stuff. And so she mapped out a plan where she would go online for, like 30 minutes a day, and she would just practice the art of conversation, the art of flirting, in a different way than she was used to. She was vetting these guys like, are you my boyfriend? Are you my boyfriend? Like she was the list lady. And because of that, she wasn't meeting anybody, because nobody was good enough, by the way, because she was scared. Like she wasn't really present. And so with the flirting, I not only taught her how to do that online, but also like on video dates, in person, all of that kind of thing. And because she was relaxing into it, she ended up she started dating up a storm and meeting guys, by the way, that she initially would have like crossed out. Because, and I remember in the beginning, because I do this whole thing called chemistry analysis with people, and she's like, I don't have chemistry. And I said, well, your chemistry, like your type isn't working for you, so we need to do something different. And she was getting just turned on by the shiny object, the look, and other things. She was looking at the wrong things, basically. So when she started dating somebody who didn't like fit her like type, it was like a surprise for her, and she started making more emotional connections with people. And because of that, she ended up landing this great guy. And so guess what? By the end of the coaching, she found a guy that she considered who could be her soulmate, and she was so happy. And she's like, Kim, I have never been happier in my entire life. And I said, wow, like, so what are you happy about? She's like, well, it's funny because you told me in the beginning that you were going to help me find my soulmate, and I thought that was going to be my happiness. But at the end, right now, even though I got the guy, that's not what I'm happy about. I'm happy about the fact that I love me. And that was huge, because she just didn't know that she didn't love her. And so if she were to go in by starting out, what are you looking for in a relationship? She didn't even know what she was looking for. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And so it is much more grounded. And actually, I think that's a way of managing expectations. Like Julie, you were talking about before. Like we can manage our expectations by having things that are easy to reach. It's hard to reach the soulmate. It's hard to reach the relationship. It's easy to reach like a conversation online and practicing.
So I'm a little conflicted on this one. I agree on some of that, but then I also have a bit of a counter opinion on it. And I think, we gotta diversify. We're all about, I'm like trying hard to find a different opinion. But no, I actually do have one. So I used to, I think also from us doing this podcast, we talk to so many experts and daters and all this. And like, there's so many important questions you do need to ask like a partner to like see if you're on the same page and all of that. And I think I did take a time, and I've seen this with other people too, that you do ask a lot of those like deep, hard-hitting questions on date one. And I think it's because of this whole, like, I don't want to waste time mentality, if we're going to bring it full circle, right? But I do agree with you here that on the first date, I don't think it's the right time, because I think in a way, like the best dates are kind of like light and fun, and let's see if we even like each other. And I think though sometimes we're like, I want to know everything about their past relationships. I want to know where this person is. Are they emotionally available before I get connected and all that and start developing feelings? So I personally think that like the first date should it just be like, do I like this person as a person? But then subsequent dates, I do think you should have conversations, and they don't need to be like heavy conversations. Like I actually like what's your mission, like that, but more like not just romantic, but just like what do you want in life, kind of like it can be. I mean, I don't think it needs to be formal. Like I did have someone ask me like, what do you want, where do you want your life to be in 5 years? And I'm like, I have no idea. That was like a little overwhelming and interviewing, but I think you can like bake it into the conversation naturally. And I think that gives you a pulse of where someone's at. If they're like, hey, like, work is 100% like my focus right now, or like, party scene or whatever it may be, you're going to at least get glimpses in, not to say that you need to like bail at that point. Like it still might make sense to keep going depending on the individual. Again, it's hard to give blanket advice, everyone is different, but at least you like can keep managing your expectations and see where things develop. And I think it will be telling too, like if someone does kind of like bring up like an ex, like beyond just like what I learned from this relationship, if it keeps coming up, and like I think that could be a sign that like they might not be on the same page as you.
Yeah. Well, and I totally agree that there's a pacing with it, right? And I think we're both in agreement. Like the first date, you should never ask what you're looking for and tell me about like these esoteric kind of theories that you have. Yeah. But no, and I agree with a lot of the stuff you said. What about you, Yui?
I think fundamentally, we just don't know how to ask the question. And I think we're all asking the wrong question. The question shouldn't be, what are you looking for? Because guess what? Nobody knows what they're looking for.
Nobody does, right?
Nobody does, right? And then when you propose a question like that, what people end up giving you is the 10-year picture or the 20-year picture. Oh, I'm looking for marriage and kids. I think a lot of people say that, but are they really looking for that, or do they think that is just the end result of countless relationships that they're going to be in? So I like to ask the question, what are you open to right now? And I learned this from my current relationship, where when we first met, he was recently divorced, and I kind of just knew that he wasn't going to jump into another relationship, even though he didn't explicitly say that. But I asked him, what are you open to? And he said, I'm open to love again. And I think that to me wasn't so much, oh, we're going to get married and have kids like next year, but it was more that his heart was open for that. And I think ultimately when we date, we're just looking for other people who are open to love, who are open to a healthy, committed relationship. They may not want that right away or are actually looking for that, but if their heart is open to it, you're on the right path.
Yeah, we both took a breath, Julie.
I know, I love it. Yeah, I think that's so dead on, because it's like, it's a really good point too, that like people don't know what they want, or they're thinking like in these, what society tells you you're supposed to want, or what they think. If someone asks you on your first date, like they might just tell you what they think that you want to hear. And we actually had this really interesting conversation. We have a very lively Facebook group called Love in the Time of Corona. So for anyone that's dating, it's definitely a must-have to get in there. I'll give a little plug for that. But
oh my God, no, it's an amazing community. Definitely check them out. Yeah.
But we also have our premium sounding board group, which is kind of like the level up from that. We do like happy hours, and like people really are like legit friends from this now. And one of the women in the group was talking about like this came up, and she's like, oh, I like to ask like on a dating app, like before I even do a phone call, before I do a first date, anything that's like, what did you learn from your last relationship? Or like, what? No, actually it was deeper than that. It was why, like, what did you do to end your last relationship? Like kind of like wanted to see like what they would say about taking some of the blame on themselves, and like seeing if they were like, oh no, my ex sucked, like those conversations. But then one of the guys in the group, he was like, if someone said that to me, like within like 10 minutes of talking, I sure as hell wouldn't give them like an actual answer, because I don't know them. And then I would just feel like they were like interrogating me, and I would probably like back out. So it kind of was counter. And she was like, literally light bulbs went off in her head when she heard this. She's like, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to ask that again.
That's why I love like your community, because, and it's like what we're doing here. We have men and women on here, and it's like kind of like having that conversation with each other. And I do believe there are gender differences in the way that we like think. When I co-hosted the Great Love Debate, who I think you guys know too.
Yeah, with Brian.
With Brian Howie, and I used to co-host the live shows as well, and so I flew all over the United States, and I hear these stories over and over again. And what's so funny, one time I asked the audience, I'm like, how many women go in on the first date and think about if this person that they're meeting could be their future husband or boyfriend? And almost every woman raised their hand.
For sure.
Right? Like, we think in stories, we think in Cinderella and fairy tales, and is this my man, right? And then I asked the same question to the guys. Guess what? None of the guys raised their hand.
No. Can I tell you actually something that might, like, hopefully this won't discourage people, but we had our most controversial guest ever. Like, it was a guy that basically, he's married now, but he was replaying all of his single like escapades when he did not want a relationship, and he basically just wanted to hook up. And he was telling us that he knew that women really liked to hear like, you know, that someone was looking for marriage and they were looking for children and all the stuff. And he would actually proactively ask women what they were looking for. So he looked like he was like the ultimate relationship guy. So I do think after hearing that, again, I don't want to discourage people. There probably are a lot of people out there that like really do say that and mean it as men. But like, just because someone says it, it kind of goes back to it. Like, let's see their actions. Like, it doesn't matter in a way what they say.
You know, all of this that we're talking about, I think these questions are rooted in fear, if you think about it. Like, I think everybody is trying to prevent something from happening. So they're asking these questions to try to prevent something, you know, that maybe happened to them in the past or whatever that is. And the reality is you can't prevent something from happening just by asking a big question, right? And I think that's where my list lady comes in that I was talking about before, is like she keeps asking all these questions to make sure that this isn't going to happen again. But by the fact that you're asking it, you're actually making it happen again. Like, that's the thing. It's like another kind of paradox. And so I think maybe the conclusion is, with what everything that we're saying, is that the more present you are, the more you focus on connection and really establishing like something with somebody and letting it progress in a way that's healthy, that you get to see evidence of all these things that you're worried about. And that's all you can do, you know, along the way, because people show up and they show up differently sometimes, and you don't really know the real person, like that guy that you just talked about. But see, and that's the thing, like that guy might have his shtick, as I say, you know, and he could go and now he knows what to say with a woman, but then he might meet a woman that he really is interested
in. He did. He got married, you know?
See? Right.
Yeah. One of my good friends.
I think the only like small caveat I will make though on this is like when people are telling you at face value what they want and it's not in line with you, like if someone's like, I don't want a relationship or I just want a like friends with benefits relationship, I think sometimes as women, we try to be like, no, we can change them. And I think, and I think that is a mistake. And I think that, like, yes, it's like hard because it's like if someone tells you you want a relationship, you can't believe them. But if they tell you they don't want a relationship, maybe you should believe them. Like, it's very confusing. But, you know, like, I think if sometimes if you really did hear what people were saying or you saw the actions, like if they said they were looking for a relationship, but they're never the one initiating plans, ever, then I think you need to, like, also be like, okay, is this what I want? They are kind of, whether it's verbal or nonverbal, they are telling you what they want, essentially.
Yeah. Nobody forces you to be in a relationship, right? So whatever situation you find yourself in, you got yourself there. Nobody tricked you to get there. And I think that's part of what we need to take away from modern dating, is that we got to stop playing the victim. And when we play the victim, we act out of fear. Like what you were saying, Kimmy, is I was a victim in my previous relationship where this person broke my heart. So for this next relationship, I got to be like, I've got my defenses up and I got to ask all the right questions. But with dating and love, every situation is so different. So when we play victim mentality, we never actually address the core issues that are in ourselves. So I think to what you're saying, Kimmy, and I wish we could replay that, is we can't prevent anything from happening. I used to be so scared of marriage, and I would tell my mom, 50% of marriages end in divorce. Why should I even get married? And she's like, you get into bed every day and you still have to make it, right? So why make your bed if you're gonna get into bed again? It's the same kind of thing. Like, you can't, there are just things that you need to do, that happen, and things that you cannot prevent, but you can't do or not do something because of a potential outcome.
Yeah, so by the way, we can replay. By the way, we could go to Sway TV Replay, I believe it is, .com, And we can see the replay of this and the recording. So yeah, I think it's such a good point. See, I love producer Andy. Look at, there it is. Sway TV replay.
Wow. This is like a sports game. You know, like when they go back and they like play, show the play.
Oh no, you haven't seen nothing yet. Wait till we get into the product section, which we're going to do in just a minute. But before we do that, I want to remind everyone to click the follow button so that you can interact with us. Things are going to get even more fun. I know this has been more of a serious talk, but I think it's a super important one. And we're going to share some products with each other. I know they have some fun things that they are going to share. And it all relates to dating too. And I have the latest dating, well, actually, I will say they're more about the fashion trends that are coming this spring. And I am going to show examples of what I think those trends could be in relation to dating. Because here's the thing. Not every trend is something that's attractive. And I will just say that. Like, I wanted, right? Like, sometimes you see the runway and you do you see the makeover shows, and it's like, oh, just wear the latest trends. And like, I don't know a guy that would find that necessarily attractive, you know?
No.
And so I do want to share some things that I think that opposite sex would find attractive. But before we do that, we did have a question from somebody. This is from Rachel. Sorry, Rachel, I know you've had this for a while, but what about if after a couple of months of dating a guy says that he has no idea what he wants? Let's just see where things go.
Oh, God, yeah.
And feel like this is a guy with commitment issues or who isn't interested. Oh, Rachel. Okay, what do you ladies think? You go first.
Oh, my God.
I heard sighs from
I know. I think we both like let that relief out. I think these are the examples we're talking about, right? Of like, you know, it's a tough balance. Like, you don't want to throw out all the cards on date one. You want to like develop something organically, but you also don't want to be in a relationship that's like a dead end relationship forever. I think truthfully, we all know if a relationship is progressing or not, even if it's unsaid. If you feel like you are the one constantly making all the plans, you feel like this person doesn't really want to see you, or like when they are with you, it's lukewarm. Like, again, it's hard to dissect every last relationship, but I think deep down we know. And like the fact that like even in this comment, there was a mention of commitment issues, like there could be signs coming out. Personally, what I would do in that situation is have a conversation with this person. Like, I think it depends like how long this has been, but if it's been like 3 months plus, and again, time is tough because it depends. Like, are you seeing each other once every 3 months? That could be your answer right there. Are you seeing each other like consistently, you know, every week, a couple times a week? Like, I think all that does factor in. Like, if they are giving you the actions, but they're saying that, I think I would say why? Like, why can't, like, what is kind of the reasons? Like, I love like what Yue said earlier, like, what are you open to right now? Like, that would get a feel of what they're looking for too. But I think like we also need to look at the nonverbal cues of like the stuff I mentioned. Like, we're really like, what is this relationship? Like, I think a lot of times we want to fantasize that this is a relationship, but if you're realistically seeing someone so infrequently, it may not really be that anyways.
Yeah, I mean, we had a listener going through the exact same scenario, and she just kept trying to save this relationship, trying to squeeze a little ounce out of it every time, even though he kept saying, "That's not what I'm looking for," or I'm not really sure what I'm looking for," or "I'm not sure what I'm looking for with you." And end of the day, the question should be, how does this person make you feel? Obviously, Rachel, this person is not making you feel secure, not making you feel confident or safe. These are already values that I think show negative red flags of the relationship. Even though if he came back tomorrow and said, "I'm ready, I'm looking for a relationship," he still makes you feel this uneasiness. So I think it's good, like to Julie's point, to communicate this with him, even though he's like, let's just see where this goes. It sounds like it doesn't align with what you're looking for. So it's your turn to communicate with him what you're looking for.
And it can even be soft, like, I really enjoy hanging out with you, but I'm looking for someone that, you know, like, is kind of all in with me, or, you know, someone I don't feel anxious around. Like, I think so many times we're afraid to say that type of stuff. But ultimately, like, we had a really wise guest, Connor Beaton, on our show that said, like, don't be so scared to, like, or don't be so afraid to scare away the wrong people. And I think ultimately, like we were talking about earlier, like, the biggest mistake we make is, there was this really great quote that was like, you don't want too much. You're just asking the wrong people for what you want. And I think we need to recognize that.
So true. Yeah. And I love what you both said. And I was thinking along the same lines. And it's really, Rachel, it's kind of up to you. What I'm not clear about, I mean, we're assuming that Rachel wants more, but that's my first question. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And if you're not clear, Rachel, what you want, right? Like that's all that should matter. And then everything else will fall into place. And then you get to ask for what it is that you want. And it really is that simple. And I know, like, it can be more complex when you're in it, obviously. But it's also looking at just both, like, the responsibilities of each party, right? Like, Rachel, what are you doing to keep this kind of at that, you know, distant length? You know, are you allowing certain behaviors and for him to do what I call intermittent reinforcement to give you just enough to keep you going on the trail with the crumbs?
For sure.
Right?
Breadcrumbing. Classic breadcrumbing.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, these are questions to just kind of ask yourself. And if that's okay with you, great, then keep collecting crumbs. Like, that's fine. And I'm not, like, saying that facetiously. I'm like, because some people may not be ready for more. And Rachel, like, that's where you have to really dig deep into, well, wait a second, what is it that I want? But if you are wanting more and you are wanting something that's more connected and heading towards a relationship with this guy, it's exactly what you ladies just said. Like, but you get to call the shots. And how you do it is you do set boundaries. It actually reminds me of a book that I have in the carousel.
Oh, perfect.
Segue? Did you like that?
Love it. Love it. I kind of know what book it's going to be. I have a sixth sense about what book this might be.
You know what it is. I'm sure you've talked about it. And that is, I talked about this many times, Why Men Love Bitches.
Oh,
is this the one that you were gonna?
No, it wasn't at all. Actually,
you all have books, but this is a book that I had in my little.
I was like, that is not the one I thought it was gonna be. Okay.
Well, the reason why this kind of came to my mind is it's not about being a bitch, but it's about setting boundaries, right? Like, it's about showing up and, like, how can you make a man earn you? And, like, I'm just wondering, Rachel, like, how much of you are you giving to him? How much are you making it easy for him? Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why I think we both have, like, we all parties have responsibilities, and guys can get a little lazy with that, you know? And so, Beth says that book is amazing. It is amazing. I don't know if you ladies have read it. It's awesome. I often tell people about it, but I know were you guys gonna come up with some books just now?
We had one book in our queue.
Is this
that's actually
Love Is Not Enough?
No, it wasn't that one, but that's a great one also. That's a fantastic audiobook that we actually had Mark Manson, who's a really well-known writer and author. He was on our podcast talking about his new Audible original Love Is Not Enough, and that was a fantastic one. But we also have How Not to Die Alone by Logan Ury. Do you see that one?
Yep.
So this is like a new release, like as of March or February. It just came out right near. It's brand new. She's the director of relationship science at Hinge, and also just like studies behavioral science as it relates to, like, romance. She's amazing. We've had her as a guest. Definitely check out her episode on Dateable. It's from this recent season. But we love the book. We love Logan. So really definitely wanted to share that with everyone.
So I would suggest this succession of books. I would not suggest reading Why Men Love Bitches when you are angry, when you're disappointed, when you're like, I deserve better, because you're going to take the wrong messages. So I would start with Logan Ury's book first to set the scene, and then Mark Manson's book to kind of like level set. This is
you're going too fast for my little fingers. Is this your I'm scrolling. I'm trying to wait.
I'm also watching on my phone, so I'm like trying to keep up with you, Kimmy.
What color is the first one that you just said?
Logan's is blue, and it has 2 toothbrushes on it.
Yeah, oh, the one that I just saw. Okay, so I just showed that one. And then what's the next one?
And then Love Is Not Enough.
The audiobook or the audio original
series with Mark Manson.
So what does it look like? See, I don't have my glasses on. I'm an old lady.
It's blue. It's like blue, like neon
here it is.
blue.
I got it. See,
there it is.
It's like going back to kindergarten. I gotta be color coded here. Okay, there we go. Love Is Not Enough. Oh, so what is this one? I haven't heard this one yet.
You know, it takes the fantasy out of dating. We can fantasize all we want and live in this virtual world all we want, but it brings us back to reality, and he profiles real people going through real situations in their relationships. So we can learn so much from the dissection of other people's relationships. So I would do that as book number 2, or listen to that as book number 2. And then 3 is Why Men Love Bitches. Then you're like, okay, I'm back. I'm grounded. I'm back to reality. I'm ready for some new stuff.
Bam. Okay. Hey, I think we came up with a really cute library for everybody.
Yeah, we did.
Now, what about for men? Do you think that
Deeper Dating?
Yes,
you had it on your list.
Deeper
by Ken Page.
Deep Dating. Okay, wait, hold on.
I just saw it on your list. And this is a common problem, and it's not just for men, but I think men would find this find this interesting, because I think a lot of men don't have the resources for how to have deeper connections in relationships. And we hear this from a lot of our male listeners, is that I don't have the support and the friends and, just people around me to talk about dating, to dissect dating. So this book really goes deep. I mean, obviously it's called Deeper Dating, but it helps you get those inner voices out. And when you see it on paper and words, you're like, it really validates the things that I'm feeling.
This is fantastic, because a lot of the guys that I work with, and I work with both men and women too, and so many men want a deeper connection, and I think that they get a little shy about even stating that out loud. They don't know how to get that connection. They have read all these pickup artist stuff, and they see The Game, which is another book, and there's value to that. I mean, in ways of just guidelines, but the problem is it's just a script, and it's not connected, and it's not authentic. And so I love that you're recommending something like this for them. Great. Okay.
I don't know if we're ready to move off of books, but I have something else for men if we are. Okay. This is under the socially distant date ideas that we have on our Amazon store. So yeah, all the books too are on our Dateable Amazon store also. So if you want those titles.
Connected, distant dating.
Distant dating, yes. Okay. So there is this killer backpack.
Oh yes.
On there.
I saw that. This looks cool.
Backpack opens up, and it is wine glasses, silverware. You can literally go and have the most romantic socially distanced date ever at a park. If a guy did that for me, it would be over. I'd be so into that. So hint for anyone watching, yes, buy that backpack.
That is awesome. And look, it comes in different colors, because I have to say, I don't like that beige color was ugly to me. I like the blue.
But it's the convenience factor.
Yes.
The fact that actually one of my good friends, her now husband, on one of their first dates, he brought a whole picnic in a backpack and then just set it up, and obviously it worked for them. So I think this is a really good approach for people.
Oh my gosh, this is great. Okay, how about 2 more products, and then we'll do a wrap up, because there's so many great things on here. Okay.
I think for the casual dater who's been doing virtual dating and video dating, a ring light is so key.
Oh my God, I had that on my list too.
It's not just for influencers anymore. I'm actually using the one we're recommending, and I love that it has these different functions of, you can go warmer tones, you can go cooler tones, you can turn up the brightness and down. And it's not just for influencers anymore. It's great for virtual dates. It's great for your Zoom calls. And it just makes you look more alive and more.
This one is cute. I like this one too, because it has that little clip.
Yep.
On there.
It's just portable. You can put it on your phone. You can put it on your laptop, anywhere.
Yeah, you don't want this. This is way too big. Like,
Yeah.
stop using
Oh
this
my God.
big one.
I have that one, by the way, and you know the problem with that is that you see the ring in the eyes.
That's true.
Have
Yes.
you ever seen? And I find with these little ones, you don't get that.
Yeah,
So,
you just need the light. I think also while we're on products about video dating, I personally think that it's worth investing in either the Amazon Echo Show or the Facebook portal. Those are like these, new age video platforms that basically, I mean, I've done this with
Wait,
like
which one should I click on? Where is it?
I mean, they're honestly, they're very similar. They're just like, there's slight differences between the two, but this is under
is this one?
virtual dates.
Echo Show?
Yep, the Echo Show. There's multiple versions of these two, so you can find one that fits, but they almost like simulate real life too. And like, I actually haven't tried it. I tried to do it on a date for Facebook, the Facebook portal, because you can also connect to WhatsApp on it too. So if you're not on a Facebook friends level with your dates, you can probably find them on WhatsApp and do it. But even with like family members, it feels like you're like sitting with them. And the portal one that you could put on your TV, it's like this massive screen. It feels like you're just like kind of discussing in the same room, even though you're on two different screens. And it just makes like video chats a lot more casual, and it's not as straining to your eyes. So I think it sets you up for like a fun video date instead of like, oh my God, I have to use Zoom and it feels like a business meeting.
That is, but just make sure, y'all, your background looks good as you're moving around the house.
Right.
Because
That's true.
Oh my God, I told
It will follow you around a little, so you gotta clean up.
I had a woman tell me a story about a guy who literally was laying on the couch with his shirt off, and he had, and it was just all she saw was the belly. Like, he wasn't even mindful like where the camera was, and like, so that's the only like air of caution with these when you're moving around. But this looks super cool.
That should be a good tip. That should be like a pro tip regardless of your video platform, I wouldn't blame the Echo, the Amazon Echo or Facebook portal for those. That's just common knowledge that you should be doing regardless.
No, this looks super cool. And I like the fact also that it's easier on, like, more gentle on the eye, because my eyes are getting so, like, I don't know, I have to like look away because even with that blue light. So this is really cool.
Yeah, awesome. And if you're in our Facebook group too, you can also use that for the Facebook group chats we do.
There you go.
So like you can socialize with people, you can socialize with dates. Like there's so many. The options are limitless on that one.
Awesome. Ladies, I love this. Well, I have some products that I was going to also share with the dating trends and stuff, but I will leave this up to you. You can stay on here if you want to see them, but if not, I know it's been a long night. You can also leave. Like, it's totally up to you. What do you ladies want to do?
I'm going to go eat dinner.
Okay, I figured. I know, it's like it's 6 o'clock already.
I feel like we could talk to you for hours, Kimmy. I'm so like, it's always a pleasure.
That picnic backpack really got me hungry.
Me too. I was like, I really wish I was on a picnic right now eating like charcuterie plates. That sounds amazing.
Well,
Thank you so much, Kimmy. This was so much fun. You're always so much fun to hang out with. And I think that's what's so lovely about you in general, is that you have this really serious, like, you're a therapy background, but then you bring the light and the playfulness to everything we talk about with dating. So thank you for having us on your show.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. And I just want to plug your community, because I had the pleasure to go on, and remember we did that fun thing with the profiles.
They loved you.
And it was so fun, so definitely check their Facebook group out, and just let everyone know, where to find your podcast and the Facebook group before you head out.
Sure. I mean, our podcast is on pretty much every podcast platform. Apple Podcasts is like, the go-to, Spotify, pretty much you name it. But you can also go to our website, dateablepodcast.com. A good episode to start with could be Hacks to Looking Your Best with Kimmy Seltzer.
Oh,
Just saying.
Just plug that one.
I love it. It was a very big crowd favorite anyways, but obviously, everyone loved that one. So definitely check that out. I think especially in the world of virtual dating, you only need to get dressed from the waist up, but you might as well look good still, right? So Kimmy is really good at those hacks.
Oh my God. And that's what I was going to tell everybody about as you guys head out, because that is also kind of trending. It's like the loungewear is actually in, and it's super cute, and also could be sexy if worn the right way. So, ladies, well, definitely we have to do this again. Maybe we'll do it in person one day. Wouldn't that be great?
I hope so. Hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so too.
Awesome. And everybody on the chat is thanking you. And so, everyone's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. You were awesome. And thanks for sharing your wisdom.
Yeah, and if they want to talk to us more, come to our Facebook group, Love at the Time of Corona. That's our last plug.
Yay! All right, ladies.
Thanks,
well, see you later. And for those of you who are on, don't go away. I still have more, and then we'll close out the show. So, oh my God, weren't they awesome? I love those ladies, and I really wanted to share them with you because we are in alignment with so much of the stuff that we see out there. And although they're not coaches, they are up and up on all the latest things that are happening in the world of modern dating. And so, Beth, you're a new fan to me too, if you're still there. And you can find me at kimmyseltzer.com, or you can go to my Instagram at Kimmy Seltzer. And again, I offer these free breakthrough calls. So anyone who wants to hop on a phone call with me, happy to just hear about what's going on in your life and how I can possibly help. So make sure that you check out the link. It's called Breakthrough Call, and you can sign up there. I also have something coming up this Saturday that I wanted to share with you all, and I'm super excited about it. We only have a couple slots left, but if you are free this Saturday, here's an opportunity to get into my community and have a little fun as we head into spring. I have something called the Flirt Immersion Experience, and it's an all-day virtual workshop. It's for a small group of women, but you men out there, I am including you as well, and I'll tell you how. For women, we are doing an all-day workshop where you are going to learn how to flirt, how to give a good date, conversation skills, how to navigate online, how to progress on your dates and into relationships. And I workshop you. I mean, this isn't just me, a talking head, kind of like how I'm doing right now and giving you advice. I'm actually doing some exercises and games to help you all get some breakthroughs. And last time I did it in the fall, it was amazing. And here's the thing that's so fun about it is that at the end of the night, we bring on a man panel to answer your love and relationship and dating questions, and you're going to get it from the horse's mouths of what they really think, what they find sexy, what they want on a first date, all of that. We are doing a real date, a mock date in front of everybody where we will assess how the date is going so we can learn from each other. And then we're going speed dating. Yes, we are going speed dating. In fact, it was so awesome last time I did it that like 3 people ended up moving on and dating people from that whole that speed dating experience. So it was awesome. So definitely check it out. It's this Saturday, March 20th. We start at noon Pacific. You can go to my Instagram at Kimmy Seltzer and go check out the link you see in the link tree. It's a long link, and you click it, you'll see the link to that. And I'd love to have you. Only a couple slots left. But with that, you also get a free coaching call or a virtual makeover, either one, whatever you want to use that time with me on. And so you get a lot of bang for your buck, and you get an audio course that goes along with my dating archetypes. I went over, if you missed the first part, I have these 5 dating archetypes, and I now have an audio course that you can listen to, and it's in the form of a podcast. And I actually coach people live who are these dating archetypes, and you get to hear how they overcome their challenges. So with that being said, let's end with some fun looks for spring. And as I was saying to the ladies before, you know, what is trending doesn't always necessarily mean that the opposite sex finds sexy and attractive. I always wanted to do like one of those makeover shows on the big news that you see in the morning, because you see these makeovers and not all the time does it really flatter somebody, or maybe the opposite sex even finds attractive. So it's really being mindful of not only what your body type is, but what the opposite sex finds attractive. So here is one, I want to go over a trend that's definitely happening, that's out there, that I still think is cute. I love DLs. I don't know, do you all know DL jeans? I can't believe it's on Amazon. Amazon, I love you, love you, love you. I cannot believe the products that you've been getting in, because I like, all different kinds of fashion and different brands. The fact that Amazon is carrying these brands, I'm just amazed. And so what we're seeing a lot is these really like faded, washed out jeans that, we've seen them before. Now, here's the thing that is more trending, but not necessarily, I think, attractive. We're seeing a lot of these light wash jeans, but they're really baggy, kind of the boyfriend jeans. But so much so where a lot of times it's not super attractive for your body type. Your legs are getting lost. And so if you want to show off those legs, ladies, I think a man would really appreciate something more like this. If you're a man, please chime in and let me know if am I right or am I right, that you'd rather see a girl in these skinny jeans than these big ginormous jeans that are kind of trending right now. So I am bringing this trend into something that what I think is more date worthy. So I think, and this is such a good price for DLs, by the way. I cannot get over this. And look at all the cute, you can get them in all these different washes. And oh my God, look at this cute. So cute. I love the fact that they have the red ones. Wait, I'm taking these off. I'm hearing myself talk. I'm doing enough talking. I don't need to hear myself talk. Okay, so here is, this is in Kimmy's Love Hub, by the way. You can find all the items in my, if you go to, oh my God, what is it? Sway TV shop. Am I saying it right? If you want to find it, because not everything is in my carousel. So you got to go to Kimmy's Love Hub. Thank you, Andy, because I can't see this little writing that's ahead of me. I need my glasses. SwayTVshop.com. If you go there, you'll find Kimmy's Love Hub. And in my store, you'll find all the items that I'm talking about and from previous shows. So yeah, I think these are really cute. Now, another thing that is trending that would go really cute with the light wash jeans is these kind of white shirts that, now they're calling, I saw something that is really trending. Now, I'm not a huge fan, but it's called the Poet shirt. And the Poet shirt has a little bit of this effect, but I like this one better because I think it fits the body better. Now the Poet shirts they're showing has a really broad shoulders on it. Now some women can pull it off, but not every body type can pull that off. This kind of shirt I think would look good on a lot of different bodies, because whether you're an inverted triangle, whether you're a triangle, whether you're an hourglass, this will still work on you. So she's even wearing it with the light wash jeans. This is a super cute casual look. It's also something that is very angelic. I know a lot of guys like white. Now here's the thing. For your online profile, I would not do a white shirt, just so you know, because it tends to wash people out and also it can widen you in the camera. But for an in-person date, and if you're a socially distant date, this is super cute. Now, imagine this. You can pair it with, now actually I have two ideas for you for this. One, now if you want to get a little dressy, you could do something like the espadrilles are also in style. Now Cole Haan is one of my favorite shoes because they usually have the Nike insole and it's super comfortable. So even if you have to walk a little bit or stand, I think these would be really comfortable, definitely more comfortable than a heel. And that would be really, really cute with your jeans and your white top, especially if you do something like this, like a pale pink. How cute is this? Or look at even this color. Oh my God, this would be really cute with the light jeans and the white shirt. I love this. And again, look at this price point is fantastic for Cole Haan. Cole Haan is I love this brand. Amazon, you rock that you carry all this. I'm literally not shopping anywhere else again because now I get a carousel of all the products here. And then let's say that you want to go for a walk and you want something that's more of a sneaker. Because of the carryover of the COVID clothing, yes, it's acceptable to still be comfortable, but make sure that you look super cute doing it. I love these sneakers. So these are by Skechers. I actually have them on to show you. Can you see? I just did yoga this morning, so I'm all stretched out. But these are so comfortable. They are, the version is Go Walk. Okay, so that has like, right now, a really cushiony insole, so I really love them. And look at all the colors. So can you imagine, even if you pop like a little bit of a pink on the bottom, it's very, very cute, you know, because you have something neutral on top and then you pop a color. You could do that color. You could do a salmon color. Oh my gosh, how cute is this? Yeah, Sharon. Oh yeah, I love Skechers shoes, so comfy. They are, and I still think they're cute and definitely affordable. And I really even like the lime green. I'm seeing a lot of the lime green come back too in ways of the color palettes. But the color palettes are very, I'd say like soft and, you know, kind of the baby pinks and baby blues. It's really pretty. All right, what else do I have to show you? And I will save some of this for next time, but I do want to, so now we got the shoes. We got the jeans, we got the top. Now you need the purse. There are two purses that are trending right now. One I was surprised about because I haven't even seen this. One is the woven bag, but it's the woven like leather bag look. And I liked this one a lot because it's faux leather, first of all, so it won't break the bank. Here's the thing with trends. A lot of times you don't want to spend a huge amount of money for something that's trending that's going to go out of style next year. And accessories and purses are a perfect example of that. So I like this kind of purse because it's small. You can wear it like, you know, around your wrist. You can put it across your body. And how cute, you can put a pale pink across your body. And you can do, you know, an off-white. You can do, ooh, a purple. That's kind of cute. It comes in all different kinds of colors. $36, y'all. Like, that right there is really, I mean, that's a no-brainer. But if you're going for a walk with, you know, your guy, that kind of thing, that's cute. Now, check this out. And I will end with this product right here. Oh, no, I lied. I have jewelry to top all this off with. I have never seen anything like this, but these circular bags are really trending right now, but I think they're really cute. And not only that, they're practical, right? Because if you're going for a walk and you're being really casual, you can have, they're just calling it a mini bag, but if you have something that's a circle like that, you open it up and look at how you can put like your credit cards in. Isn't that cute? It divides all your cards. You can put just like little knickknacks in there. The only thing is if you have like a ginormous phone like me, I'm not sure if it fits. It might be. It might. Possibly. You have to look at the dimensions. But I was excited to find this on Amazon as kind of a knockoff because I saw this in like higher fashion magazines for a lot more than this. Let me just say that. So again, this is a trend. You don't want to spend a lot of money. This is perfect. Okay, so we have to end it with jewelry to top off this cute little outfit that we're putting together for your next date. And with that, what is in right now, and of course, you know, if you want to spend something and get real gold, obviously I'm not going to stop you. However, why do real gold when you can do something like this? The chunky chain is really in right now. And this, especially in form of a choker. So with that blouse that I just showed you, you know, you just show a little bit right here and it's cute. And look at for $16, $15.95, you can put together, you know, something that's really trending without, you know, spending a lot. And I think this is really, really cute. It'll go with everything. All right, so I have a lot more, but I'm gonna save some of my trends for another show. We've been at this for 2 hours and 18 minutes. Andy, aren't you proud of me? I went a lot longer today. Super. And actually, I have energy. I probably could go longer. However, my stomach is talking, and so I am getting hungry. And it wasn't fair. The other ladies went and got some dinner. So with that, I wanted to thank all of you for being on here today, for joining me live. And again, you can find me at kimmyseltzer.com if anyone is interested either in the Flirt Immersion workshop coming Saturday, March 20th, or any other services that I have. And just hop on the phone with me and we can talk about the different options. You can go to my Instagram at Kimmy Seltzer. And thank you so much for being here at Kimmy's Love Hub on Sway TV. And until next week, let's sway.
Make sure you guys follow Sway TV. Follow Sway right here. Ooh, it's this way, sorry. Corey says, thank you, Sway TV. Shakira says, thank you, Sway. Yes, guys, it is so much fun. We love Sway TV.
We're here all the time streaming live. We're sharing great products. We're doing great interviews and amazing giveaways.
Amazon, we love you, Amazon.
So grateful for you guys and for Sway TV.
I've had such a great time with all of you.
Shop attainment all the time.
It is a girl's dream come true for someone like me to be able to give you dating advice and shopping all in one platform.
Amazon Live, woo! Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway.